Ever since I made my 10 years of working on Sooty video, people have responded to me in their tens, asking me questions about what it's like to work on the show, which is really, really exciting because I've never had an interactive YouTube video before. So yeah, let's do it again. Go down into the comment section below and tell me what you think about Brexit. In this video, I should be answering questions about what it's been like to work, what it's been like working with Sooty. And yes, I've got questions from 4 people here, so let's dive right in. The first one, I'm looking up here because I've written them down. The first one is from Mars Landers. Thank you, Mars. Hello. You said, have there been any plans to say the Sooty movie is definitely going ahead? And I did practice answering this in my head, and I can't remember what I said. The short answer is no, nothing is certain. Not to my knowledge, anyway. Whether I would know or not is another matter, but as far as I know, no, nothing is definite, nothing is certain, but then not many things are in this world, are they? Loads of people want it to happen, which is the great thing. Fans want it to happen. I want it to happen. As a fan, I want to see it. People on the production side want it to happen. It's got a lot going for it, and while I don't know for definite, I would love to see it happen for real. So I'm afraid that's the best answer I can give you. But if it does happen, I think it will be amazing. I have every faith in it, and in the heart and passion that's been poured into it by all the people currently working on it. And there are people currently working on it. So yeah. Your other question, Mars, was how much longer do I see Sooty continuing for? And I think potentially forever. I look at characters like Mickey Mouse, and it blows my mind that Mickey Mouse is coming up to his 100th anniversary, which is mind-boggling when you think about it. Whether Sooty will hit 100, I hope he will. Yeah, potentially. I see Sooty potentially going on forever. What it will depend on is someone behind it, driving it and loving it. In my opinion, I think it needs a Richard Cadell or a Matthew Corbett or a Harry Corbett to own it, to love it, to cherish it, to sacrifice for it, frankly. I think it does involve sacrifice. And of course it relies on people like you guys et moi to watch it. So yeah, in theory, I do worry though. I worry about corporations taking over things and letting great shows die horrible deaths. So it would depend on those factors, in my opinion, but potentially forever. There we go, there's a positive answer. Okay, thanks Mars. Next question is from Chelsea Hazelhurst, and you said, is there any way to watch the Sooty documentary that was done a few years ago? I believe the documentary you're referring to was the one that I can't remember the name of. It premiered in Guiseley in 2016. It was produced and directed and crafted by a talented chap called Jeff Smart, who I haven't actually met properly, but I think we're kind of aware of each other. We've emailed each other. There we go. Is there any way to watch it? Well, it's not available anywhere right now. I think there was a plan to try and get it on TV. There may be a DVD release. I think it would serve DVD very well. Heck, it may end up online one day. At the moment, no, there isn't any way to watch it, alas, but I'm sure there will be at some point. I can't imagine a situation where it would just remain buried in a vault next to the Ark of the Covenant and Eric Stoltz's Back to the Future footage. I think one day all that is going to come out and we'll get to see it. But yeah, that was cool though. That premiered in Guiseley, as I say, which is a tiny little Yorkshire town. It's probably the first time a movie has ever premiered in Guiseley. Sorry, Guiseley. But it was great. It was a very special night. People came from all over the world for that. Literally, I know people who came from Australia. Matthew Corbett was there, Brenda Longman, Richard, everyone from the Sooty-verse. It was like dying and going to Sooty heaven. And what was actually cool for me was I was living in Guiseley at the time, purely by chance, not as a geeky fan. I just happened to be living there. And the venue where it was being premiered was literally 200, 300 yards from my house. So whilst people flew over from Australia to get here, I just kind of stepped out my front door, locked it, walked down, bumped into Richard outside the theatre and went in with him, and wow, I had it easy. It was a really good documentary, actually. Left no stone unturned. It was deep, it was thorough, it was fascinating. It was just a treasure trove of really interesting stuff. Yeah, I really hope we get to see it again at some point. Thanks for your question, Chelsea. Next question is from Laith Jowsey. Hey, Laith. Okay, excuse me looking over here while I read off my pen and ink auto cue. How did I feel the first time I was on set filming? Did seeing how it all comes together shatter some of the magic for me, or change how I view old episodes? It's quite a boring answer to that question. No, it didn't shatter any magic at all. I'm fascinated with TV production and theatre production and seeing how all those things come together. I love watching the making of documentaries and behind the scenes stuff on films and Blu-rays, and I love all that. To me, it adds to the magic and my appreciation of a piece and doesn't detract from it. So no, seeing the puppets being operated for me was just as exciting as seeing them on a TV screen. To me, it was just an extra layer, an extra dimension. Seeing how Sweep's voice is done, seeing how Sue's voice is done, and how Sue and how they connect, and yeah. And also, it was great to put faces to names. People like Brian Sanford, who is Sweep and has been Sweep since the 1980s. I knew of Brian because I'd known his name from the credits of old episodes, and also he used to do my job. So when fans used to write into Matthew or the characters, to my knowledge, Brian Sanford was the man who replied, and well, he replied to me when I wrote in as an 8-year-old. So I still have my letter from Brian Sanford. So yeah, he was a name I was aware of. So getting to meet him and see his face, be like, oh, you're Brian Sanford, you're the Brian Sanford. It's really, really exciting. I don't know if Brian Sanford will ever watch this, but it was exciting. Brian, thank you so much. And thank you for being sympathetic. And also an extra thing I'd add to that. Me and Brian actually crossed paths kind of outside the Sooty world as well, working together. I used to manage the social media for Breen Theme Park, where the series is filmed. For a period of time, I was managing all that, and Brian was also in the management somewhere. He had to contact me, basically. He phoned me up to ask me to do something, and I was like, hello. He's like, hi, it's Brian Sanford. Like, he's on my heart skin. I was like, it's Brian Sanford. And I couldn't actually contain myself, and I gushed over this poor man. I was like, hi, Brian, I can't believe I'm talking to Sweep. And I had this kind of long silence on the phone. He went, stop it. He said it nicely, not a criticism. And he was right, I did need to stop it. We needed to discuss work. But he is sympathetic. He is Sweep. He is Sweep. He's nothing like Sweep, really. But yeah, get to meet people like Brian. So cool. Hope you don't mind me sharing all that, Brian. Vent your anger in the comments below, underneath all the Brexit comments if you want to. Does it change how I view old episodes, Laith? No, I watch those old episodes now and I'm like, oh, so that's how they do Sweep in a bathtub. No, I find that interesting. I know it spoils the magic for some people. Back in the day, I put loads of my photos on Facebook for my friends and family to see, and a number of people did comment and say, oh, I don't want to see the puppets being operated. They say it ruins it. And I think it probably does for a lot of people, actually. So I'm very conscious not to share too much of that stuff. Ask me if you want to see some, but yeah, no, it didn't ruin it for me. I thought it was great. Final question from Joe Taylor. Joe, you left me a message on Twitter and I said I would reply to you in a video, which is what I'm doing now. You asked me, what was I like when I met Matthew Corbett? Matthew, Richard's predecessor, childhood hero of mine who I grew up watching. What was I like when I met Matthew Corbett? The short answer is very quiet, bashful, shy, in awe. I remember me and Wink Taylor, the other writer, one of the other writers, were in Richard's office at Breen Theme Park, which is kind of like a porter cabin underneath a roller coaster, as I seem to remember it. And we were in there waiting for Matthew to come because Wendy, the makeup artist, was going to be doing Matthew's makeup. We waited for him to arrive. I remember peering out of the window and seeing Richard lead Matthew towards the office, and they were chattering away, and then I was thinking, you tend to think, oh gosh, this is it. Unfortunately, you're with Wink Taylor, who can take the edge off any awkward situations. We need him in the Brexit negotiations. And he chatted away and made everyone feel very, very relaxed, and I just sat back and let him do that. It made it very, very easy for me. I did get some time alone with Matthew afterwards, and yeah, he was polite and professional and nice, but yeah, I found it awkward because having gone through in my mind what that moment would be like when I finally get to meet Matthew Corbett and how we become best friends. Suddenly, when you find yourself in the moment, you seize up and you don't actually know what to say. So that was the case for me. I just did not know what to say. I got a second stab at it because I met him in Guiseley, and I still didn't know what to say, but I bought him a drink, which I feel like is the least I could do. I bought him a wine at Guiseley Theatre. So that's my thank you gift to Matthew Corbett for everything he's done in the Sootyverse and for having a huge impact on my childhood. I chatted actually a lot more to Dave Corbett, who did loads of the music back in the day, because he was at Guiseley Theatre as well at the film premiere. Chatted to him for quite a while. Maybe I was less... Well, I am in awe of Dave Corbett. I love his music, but I've never seen Dave Corbett on screen, so I wasn't in awe of him in the same way. And I chatted to him a lot more and told him how much I genuinely loved his music. And I do. Actually, back in the day, I used to record old Sooty songs off DVDs and VHS, actually, and put them onto my iPod so I could have like a playlist. And I still have that on my old iPod, my Sooty playlist of 90s and 80s Sooty & Co tracks, Sooty Show tracks, and Sooty & Co tracks from the 90s. Did that sentence make sense? I hope so. So I'm going really wide with your question here, Joe, but what was I like when I met Matthew Corbett? Yeah, quite shy. It must have been hard for him. A lot of people were vying for his attention on the day when he came to film Choco Chimp at Breen Theme Park. So it must have been overwhelming. I can't imagine what that must be like, but he took it all in his stride and he was gracious and courteous and professional. And yeah, in my head, when I meet him again, that's when we'll become best friends. That's when, in my mind, that's when it'll happen. There we go. I think I've answered all the questions that were sent to me. Thank you so much for asking. I'm not sure if I can do too many of these. I'm not sure how much behind the scenes Sooty stuff I should share. I need to get on with doing my job of actually just looking after Sooty Facebook and Twitter. Maybe leave some comments below and I will type out answers if you have any further questions. If not, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, bye everybody. Bye.